Hey everybody, this is Chad here from CNR Reviews, and I'd like to actually talk to you today about Ar-15 accessories. There's some videos on YouTube where you got these guys switching out barrels, or they talk really quickly about the accessories that they put on their guns. And let's just do a general overview of what I've done to this Bushmaster M4A3, and then we'll give you some good prices that, you know, just try to stick in those areas, unless you want something ridiculous. So the initial very first accessory that I replaced on this weapon is the stock. And I believe a lot of these guns are shipping with a Tapco stock. They may not say Tapco, but it basically is a Tapco stock. I know Rock River has a Tapco stock that it sends with it, but it has this logo. Bushmaster had one and it had this logo. And the problem with the Tapco stock is a lot of times it jiggles and wiggles. It's comfortable, but I really would recommend going out and trying the Magpul. This is a Magpul MOE, and this is their basic version. You can get this anywhere between $45 and $65, and you may even be able to find it cheaper if you go to a gun show or something like that. You want to really make sure that you pay attention to what type of tube you have, and so let's go ahead and I'm going to pull this down and we'll talk real quick about the tube. That way you can go ahead and buy the proper one for you. This is a commercial tube. And how I know it's a commercial tube is because this tube ends at an angle. Okay? So it's got just a very small angle to it. I hope you guys can see that. If it was a mil-spec tube, it would be straight up and down. So just be aware of that. If it has an angle, it's a commercial. If it's straight up and down at a 90 degree, that's a mil-spec. So, but there's the stock. It comes with a really nice butt pad. This is the commercial one. I believe the mil-spec one has a little bit thinner butt pad, from my understanding. You know what? I really couldn't be happier with this, and I want to say it's a 6-position stock. It's extremely positive feeling when you actually get it on the gun.
And guys, I will let you know this. I am actually going to be changing out my Tapco stock on my Sega 223 to a Magpul stock because I was so impressed with the one that Chad put on his AR. It doesn't wobble at all compared to the freaking Tapco piece of crap that I put on my Sega 223.
Sure. It still does have just a tad bit of a little bit of a wobble, but you can buy this basic one with a lock, so that way you can actually get it to lock on. And guys, they sell some really, really cool stocks. So if you don't want to stay in the $40, $50 range, you want to go up to $250, $300, they sell some really badass stocks. So check them out. They're really nice. I highly recommend it. The next really easy way to upgrade your AR is your pistol grip. A lot of these guns come with a standard pistol grip that's just plastic. The only way you're going to get a real positive purchase with your hand is if you're wearing gloves. I know some of the higher end guns are, well, actually, they're more like mid-level entry weapons like the Rock River and stuff. They will usually ship with a Hogue grip, but it has the Rock River logo on it. And so I went out, I bought a Hogue grip for this, and again, this is a Bushmaster. I put the Hogue grip on, but I experienced a problem. When I would try to flick my safety to safe or back, my grip, because the Hogue grip is so thick, it was rubbing against my safety, and so it was a really, really hard way to turn on my safety or turn it off. It felt great, but I also was getting a pinch on my middle finger from the trigger guard right here. So I did some research. I know you can replace these trigger guards, and they're like 20, 30 bucks for a Magpul one or whatever. And I started looking at different grips instead, and so I really like the way this one looks. This is a UTG. And a lot of you guys are going to roll your eyes and go, well, UTG is airsoft stuff. And no, that's not always true. They make some really good high-quality stuff that is for regular weapons, too. So just be aware of that.
Yeah, they make a great quad rail for the Sega 12 shotgun.
Yes, and this is also a UTG quad rail. We'll get to that in a second. But this is the UTG. I want to say it's the combat grip. You can get it off Amazon.com. It's got a really neat, unique look to it, if you guys can see that. It does have a compartment in the bottom. You just push this out. You got a nice little compartment. Goes on just with the standard bolt. And what's really nice about it, it covers up the trigger guard area So I no longer get that pinch, and I don't have to replace my trigger guard. So check out that. That's a really easy way. These guys are like...
And it looks cool.
Yeah, I mean, it actually looks pretty neat. But 14, 15, 16 bucks, and you got a really nice upgrade to your AR. Next thing would be the quad rail. And these quad rails, a lot of guys like to replace their quad rails, or some of them keep their hand guard that comes with the gun, the standard like A2 look, and they'll throw a rail underneath. This quad rail, you can find quad rails anywhere between $300 and, gosh, actually you could probably even find more expensive ones than that. I want to say Wilson Combat makes some for the AR that's some really expensive ones. But you can find this one for around $100. And this is a really nice quad rail. It's a very positive feeling. It's very easy to install. And you know what? Again, it's UTG, and it is solid. It's heavy. It feels like it's great, high quality. I'll give you the number that it says here. It says made in the USA. It's MTU001. And
it's a UTG Pro, and it's made in the USA.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a nice high quality quad rail. So check it out, guys. I run my grip pod off of it. I can run flashlights, whatever I want. The little tactical illuminator flashlight works great on there. Other than that, guys, those are the basic accessories for an AR. And then you can start going into other accessories such as a scope mount. And this is the Burris Pepper scope mount that I have on here. And my initial concern with buying something like this, and I was initially running just a riser mount, then the scope on top of it with rings. And I was trying to get up and over this front sight because on this model of Bushmaster, I have the 14.5-inch barrel with a permanent flash hider. I would have to either replace the barrel or pound the living crap out of this thing, ruin my flash hider to get this off, this sight off. So my concern was by buying a standard scope mount, I couldn't see over this, or I would get a ghost image. And so I finally went out, bit the bullet, bought one of these. You can find these mounts anywhere between $69 and $89. Again, it's the Burris Pepper scope mount.
And that's PEPR, guys.
Yeah, it comes with two different types of tops. You have just the standard flat top, like you see here, and then it comes with two of them with rails on there, so you can mount a flashlight on top, or you want a little red dot on top, something like that. So it's kind of nice. It is a very high quality scope mount. I've had zero issues with removing it. It has just basic bolts to remove. And you know what, it seems like it's holding up really, really well. And the nice thing is, this is a 1-inch scope. This is a Redfield scope. I do not see any ghost image from this front sight, and it sees right over it. So guys, check it out. If that is what's deterring you, don't let it. I looked everywhere for somebody to try to tell me go ahead and buy it and don't get, so I wouldn't get screwed. But nobody talks about that. And I'll just say that you can leave this on, be able to run your whatever iron sights if you want, to take off those iron sights, put on this, and it's perfect. It runs just fine. You will not be affected by this, or at least I'm not affected by it. And there's some really cool scope mounts. Wilson Combat again makes a really badass one, and scope mounts run up to $200. The Wilson Combat one's $150. This guy's $79 that I paid. Like I said, I think I found them online for like $69. Nikon for the M223, that one runs like $99 or $89. I've seen that one online. There's a whole bunch of them, guys, so check them out. Loophole makes some. Excuse me, and they're highly recommended.
And this is one of those things, guys, that excuse me. This is one of those things that you don't want to skimp on. If you have a good rifle, you don't want to buy like some cheap $4 Tasco scope rings. You want to get a nice mount for it. If you get some cheap crap and you don't put the money into it, you're not going to keep zero. They're going to be harder to.
Don't complain about the accuracy, because there's a reason why.
Yeah, you got to spend some money on that to get the outcome to be better.
Sure. The last accessory I'm going to talk about is the optics. A lot of people say that you should spend double what the gun is worth for optics, and unfortunately that would mean I'd have to buy a $2,200 or a $2,300 scope. And I'm sorry, guys, I don't have the money to go and waste on an optic. This is a Redfield scope. It does its job. It's extremely accurate. You can find these guys for like $200, $219. This is the 4-12 by 40 millimeter, and I honestly couldn't be happier with the scope. I've also owned a Nikon M223 and that I actually ended up dropping and breaking, but that scope was great, and that scope was only $350, $400. You can check out my other videos. I have a EOTech 512 that I've ran. And I personally don't like it on an AR platform because I know the AR can get out to distances of 400, 500, 600 yards. And with the EOTech, it's recommended up to 300 yards. So when I do longer distances, I prefer my scope. But other than that, guys, this is just some basic accessories. Check them out. Don't go crazy. You don't have to have the best of the best when it comes to some of these. Try out, you know, like the Redfield. You don't have to have a $1,000 Carl Zeiss or a Night Force, a $2,000 Night Force scope to make this gun accurate. But then again, some other ones, you can get a really good quality stock without spending $100. You can only spend $50. You can get a great quality pistol grip without spending $30, $40 for 16 bucks. So check it out, guys. These are just basic AR accessories. And here's an idea. If you do have a gun outfitted with an AR, you see this video and you want to send us what yours looks like, send us a picture, take a picture, email it to us, or
do a video response on what your guys' setup looks like and what you guys have found to be the best thing that works for you.
Sure. We would love to see your guns, and thanks a lot for watching. This is Chad from CNR Reviews.